These are 5 exercises to fix scapular winging. Now before we go into the 5 exercises, we've got to cover what is scapular winging. Scapular winging is when your shoulder blades don't fully attach to your upper back. They slightly stick out and almost glide off from the upper back. This can create a lot of discomfort as well as obviously a physical appearance and can lead to postural issues and injuries in the shoulder region. In this video, I'm going to break down the exact approach that you can take, a step-by-step guide, the 5 exercises, and a little bonus exercise that can really round off the whole experience. So without further ado, we've got number 1, the lying Y raise. This is really good because it keeps the scapula attached throughout the range of motion. It works a level of thoracic extension and also really helps your shoulder mobility. Another main benefit of this is not just a physiotherapy exercise. If you get good enough at this will be just as effective as hitting a set of lateral raises, whilst also helping out the stability and the health of the upper back, the shoulder region, and essentially your whole body. The next exercise in the chain is the T raise, very similar to our Y raise, but we're coming up and out, abducting at the top and squeezing the shoulder blades together when we come up. We take a small isometric contraction in that position, shoulder blades pinched, and then we just start going into the next rep. So really actually elongating the isometric portion of the exercise. This is really good because you can actually superset this with stuff like your Y raise and one of the next exercises that I'm going to recommend. The next exercise in the chain is the dumbbell skiers. Now this isn't to be confused with your ski rig machine, but instead is an exercise where we take our arms behind us and we just move the hands back and forth, almost in a kind of skiing position, really working the rear delt and the rotator cuff. This isn't a position that you find yourself in often. Once again, it's another one that will attach the scapula, and also you'll probably find, even if you don't have scapular winging, it's probably just a good exercise to do for healthy shoulders. Cable pullover. Now, if you've done any type of bodybuilding, you'll know this exercise, but you might not know it like this. With this approach, we kneel, and we don't do that full stretch of the lat, that full range of motion. We really focus on training the top of the motion, keeping it slow around there. It's a bit more of a partial. Now, as a hypertrophy exercise, you'll be minimising your ability to kind of gain overall back muscle for this. But what we're looking to do here is lean into the physiotherapy side. And what that's going to do is we're going to train the serratus and put the emphasis on the serratus the entire time. Reason being for this is that we want to target the attachment of the shoulder blades to the body rather than focus on purely hypertrophy. If I was asking you to do some hypertrophic exercises, I would obviously say a full range of motion, all the way down, all the way up, squeeze at the top kind of thing is what you'd be looking to do. But if you remember as well, on the Y raise, I advocated a little isometric hold at the top, and the reason being for this is that once again, this isn't a bodybuilding exercise. We're not looking to elongate the eccentric, we're just looking to take that at a regular pace, and we want to spend more time in the contracted position because we're looking to specifically target those shoulder blades. The next exercise is the cable row. Now, once again, this is not the cable row that you'll know. It isn't that full range of motion that I would normally advocate for someone that's trying to put on muscle. you know, that deep stretch and that massive contraction. This is almost a kind of laughable partial that you would see in some gym fails video. But the reason for this is that we are fully looking to isolate the function of attaching the scapula to the upper back. We're looking to pinch the shoulder blades together, but we don't want the elbow to come all the way back so that our shoulder is rounding forward. We also want to take a massive stretch because that's going to allow the scapula to kind of detach from the upper back. We are just fully putting it in that stress position of constantly having to be attached. It's almost like we're training it to do that rather than looking to majorly affect any kind of aesthetic muscle within the area. So if you got this far in the video, please give it a like and comment down below. I'm going to move on to our final exercise, our bonus exercise. Well done if you stayed for it. What that is going to be is it's going to be this quite rare and not often seen exercise. It is a Cuban rotation with a little bit of a thoracic extension. I don't know what this is actually called. I've seen some kind of big strength athletes do it, but essentially it is like a thoracic extension into a shrug into a Cuban rotation with the dumbbells. This is really good because I feel it attached to my scapula, and it does work obviously on external rotation, but because it's quite like a clean, because there's a little bit of momentum in it, you can actually load it kind of moderately heavy compared to things like your Y-rays. This is just a really good exercise for kind of bulletproofing the shoulders, keeping the scapula attached. I also think you get an amazing pump for doing it. So even if you're on the kind of hypertrophy side, you know, you're making great gains there. And as well, like I said, I've seen a lot of strength guys, a lot of heavy bench pressers do this exercise. So if you're someone that's more interested in the strength side of things and is just a little bit worried about scapular winging or any kind of shoulder issue, if you do this exercise, you're nearly guaranteed to be injury free. So that was the 5 exercises, or should I really say the 6. And what I'm going to talk about here is just very quickly the step-by-step guide on what to do with this information. What I'd like to see you do, and what I think would be a really good approach for someone that does have scapular winging, is to make sure that they're doing these exercises properly. Probably run all 6 of them and progress them maybe somewhere anywhere between about 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps. If you do that as a workout and you slowly progress the weight whilst keeping the form intact, you'll be nearly guaranteed to iron out any of those issues.